Ajnana Timirandasya Jnananjana Shalakaya Chakshuranmilitam Yena Tasmai Sri Gurave Namaha Nama Om Vishnupadaya Krishna Preshtaya Bhutale Srimate Bhakti Vedanta Swaminiti Namine Namaste Saraswati Deve Bodhavani Pracharane Nirvishesha Shunyavadi Paschatya Desha Charane Trinadapi Sunichena Toradiva Sahishnuna Amanina Manadena Kirtaniya Sadahari Hare Nama Hare Nama Hare Nama Kevalam Kalo Nastyeva 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 Gatir Anyatha Jaya Sri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Sri Advaita Gadadhar Srivas Adi Gaur Bhakta Vrinda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare Hari Haraye Namaha Krishna Yadavaya Namaha Gopala Govinda Ram Sri Madhusudana Hari Haraye Namaha. So today's class is entitled, Who is Lord Caitanya and what is his philosophy? So this is broken out into two parts. First, understanding Lord Caitanya. Jaya Sri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Sri Advaita Gadadhar Sri Vasari Gaur Bhakta Vrinda. Sri Caitanya Mahaprabhu is always accompanied by his plenary expansion, Sri Nityananda Prabhu, his incarnation, Sri Advaita Prabhu, his internal potency, Sri Gadadhara Prabhu, and his marginal potency, Srivas Prabhu. Lord Caitanya is in the midst of them as the Supreme Personality of Godhead. And one should know that Sri Caitanya Mahaprabhu is always accompanied by these other tattvas. So before we go any further, we should always remember that Lord Caitanya is Krishna in the mood of Radharani. Nityananda is Lord Balaram himself. Advaita Acharya is Mahavishnu. Gadadhar is an expansion of Radharani, and Srivas Thakur is the great saint Narada Muni. Therefore, our obeisances to Sri Caitanya Mahaprabhu are complete when we say, Sri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda, Sri Advaita Gadadhara, Srivas Adi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda. As preachers of the Krishna consciousness movement, we first offer our obeisances to Sri Caitanya Mahaprabhu by chanting this Panchatattva mantra. Then we say, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. There are 10 offenses in the chanting of the Hare Krishna Maha Mantra, but these are not considered in the chanting of the Panchatattva Mantra. Sri Caitanya Mahaprabhu is known as Mahavadanya Avatar, the most magnanimous incarnation, for Lord Caitanya does not consider the offenses of the fallen souls. Thus, to derive the full benefit from chanting the Maha Mantra, we must first take shelter of Sri Caitanya Mahaprabhu. Therefore, one should learn the Panchatattva Mantra and then chant the Hare Krishna Maha Mantra, for that will be very effective. So, here are some more shlokas which help us to understand who is Lord Caitanya. First is the Gauranga Pranam. Namo Mahavadanyaya. We offer obeisances unto the most munificent and charitably disposed Lord Gauranga. Krishna Prema Pradayate. This Lord Gauranga is able to give love of Krishna. Krishnaya Krishna Chaitanya Namne. He is Krishna, the original personality of Godhead, the source of all other incarnations, but currently he goes under the name Krishna Chaitanya. Gora Tvishe Namaha. Although he is Krishna, his blackish complexion has been overtaken because of the upsurge of the feelings of Radharani, and therefore his complexion is golden, just like that of Radharani. Now, the next shloka is called the Panchatattva Pranam. Panchatattvatmakam Krishnam. So, Lord Caitanya comprehends 5 transcendental subject matters. First, Lord Caitanya is appearing as the Bhakta Rupa, the form of the devotee. Then, Swarupakam, Lord Nityananda is the expansion of this devotee, Lord Caitanya. Bhakta Avataram and Advaita Prabhu is the incarnation of this devotee, Lord Caitanya. And then Bhaktakyam. Then we have Srivas Thakur, who is simply a devotee. I offer my obeisances. And finally, Bhakta Shaktikam. Gadadhar represents the energy of this devotee, Lord Caitanya, because previously we just heard that Gadadhar is the expansion of Radharani. So this Gadadhar supplies spiritual energy to the devotee. Now, here is a very famous verse from the Caitanya Charitamrita. Vande Sri Krishna Caitanya Nityanandao Sahoditao. I offer respectful obeisances unto Lord Sri Krishna Chaitanya and Nityananda. Gadodaye. They have simultaneously arisen on the eastern horizon of Gauda Desh. Pushpavantao. And they are just like as if the sun and moon together have arisen. Chitrao Shandao Tamao Nudao. And these two brothers are wonderfully bestowing benedictions by dissipating the darkness of Kali Yuga, because that's what the sun and moon do. The sun in the daytime dissipates the darkness, and the moon, reflecting the light of the sun, in the evening dispels and helps with the darkness. Now we have another verse from the Caitanya Charitamrita. Yad advaitang brahmanoparshadi yad tad api asya tanuba. Ya atmantaryami purusha iti so syangsha vibhava. Shad aishvaryay purnaya iha bhagavan sasvayam ayang. Na chaitanyat krishnaj jagati paratatvang param iha. What the Upanishads describe as the impersonal Brahman is but the effulgence of Lord Chaitanya's transcendental body. Because remember, Lord Chaitanya is Krishna. So, Lord Chaitanya, since he's Krishna, his effulgence is the impersonal Brahman. And the Lord known as the Supersoul is but Lord Chaitanya's localized plenary portion. Just as Paramatma is Krishna's localized plenary portion, and since Lord Chaitanya is Krishna, then the Supersoul is also the localized plenary portion of Lord Chaitanya. Lord Chaitanya is the Supreme Personality of Godhead, Krishna himself, full with 6 opulences. So those 6 opulences: wealth, beauty, strength, fame, knowledge, detachment. Lord Chaitanya is the absolute truth, and no other truth is greater than or equal to Lord Chaitanya. Again, that is what we say about Krishna. Krishna is asamordva. Nobody is equal to Krishna, and nobody is greater than Krishna. So since Lord Chaitanya is Krishna, then we can say no other truth is greater than or equal to Lord Chaitanya. Here is another verse from the Caitanya Charitamrita, very famous verse. Anarpita charing chirat karuna avatirna kalau samapaitum anatojvala rasang svabhakti sriyam hari purata sundara duty kadamba sandipita sada hridaya kandare spuratu vasachi nandana. Now you may wonder, why am I chanting these Sanskrit verses? Because these Sanskrit verses are full of potencies, spiritual potencies. Sanskrit is a reformatory language. When you recite Sanskrit, you're reforming your character. So Prabhupada taught us that we should try to pronounce as best as possible these Sanskrit shlokas so that we will improve in our character. May that Supreme Lord, who is known as the son of Srimati Shachi Devi, be transcendentally situated in the innermost chambers of your heart. Resplendent with the radiance of molten gold, Lord Chaitanya has appeared in the age of Kali by his causeless mercy to bestow what no incarnation of Krishna had ever before offered. What is that? The most sublime and radiant mellow of devotional service, the mellow of conjugal love of Godhead. So there are 5 mellows: Shanta, neutral, passive adoration; Dasya, servitude; Sakya, friendship; Vatsalya, parenthood. But Lord Chaitanya demonstrated and taught that Madhurya, the mellow of conjugal love, is the topmost of all the rasas. Again, from the opening verses of Caitanya Charitamrita, because Caitanya Charitamrita opens up with 14 Sanskrit shlokas. Even though Caitanya Charitamrita is mostly Bengali, there are quite a few Sanskrit shlokas. And the first 14 verses are considered the whole grounds or the whole thesis, the mission statement of what Krishnadas Kaviraj was going to explain. So the first 14 verses are very, very vital, and this is one of those 14 verses. Radha Krishna Pranaya Vakritir Khladini Shaktir Asmad ekatmanav api bhuvi pura deha bedang gatao tao. Chaitanyakyang prakatang aduna tadvayang chaikyam aptang. Radha bhava duty suvalitang naumi Krishna swarupam. The loving affairs of Sri Radha and Krishna are transcendental manifestations of Krishna's internal pleasure-giving potency. That's why in the verse, here it is, Hladini Shakti. That is the pleasure potency. Although Radha and Krishna are one in their identity, they separated themselves eternally. Now, these two transcendental identities have again united in the form of Sri Krishna Caitanya. I bow down to Lord Caitanya, who has manifested himself with the sentiment and complexion of Srimati Radharani, although he is Krishna himself. So, what this means is, when Radha and Krishna are one, then that is called Sri Krishna Caitanya. And when Radha and Krishna are two, then they're known as Radha and Krishna. But both are equal to each other. Another verse from the opening section of Caitanya Charitamrita. Sri Radhaya pranaya mahima kidrisho vanayaivav svadyo yinad bhuta madurima kidrisho va madiya saukyam chasya mad anubhavita kidrishang veti lobat tad bhavadya samajani sachi garba sindao harindu. Desiring to understand three things. So, the reason Lord Caitanya, Krishna appeared as Lord Caitanya, he had external reasons. The external reason was to deliver the fallen conditioned souls by giving them the Hare Krishna Maha Mantra. But Lord Caitanya, or Krishna as Lord Caitanya, had three other personal or internal purposes for descending. So here are the three reasons. Number one, Krishna wanted to understand the glory of Radharani's love. Krishna wanted to understand the wonderful qualities in himself that Radha alone relishes through her love. And number three, Krishna wanted to know the happiness Radha feels when Radha realizes the sweetness of Krishna's love. The Supreme Lord Hari, richly endowed with Radha's emotions, thus appeared from the womb of Srimati Shachi Devi, just as it is sometimes said that the moon appeared from the ocean. The moon doesn't appear from the ocean, but if you're looking out into the horizon, it may look like that's how the moon is appearing. So in the same way, Lord Caitanya is appearing from the womb of Sachi Devi, but that's just an appearance. Then we have some more verses from the Caitanya Charitamrita. Katanchana smrite yasmin dushkarang sukarang bhavet vismrite viparitang syat Sri Caitanyang namami tang. Things that are very difficult to do become very easy to execute if one somehow or other simply remembers Lord Caitanya Mahaprabhu. So this is something that is practical for all of us. I'll repeat this. Things that are very difficult to do become easy if somehow or other one simply remembers Lord Caitanya. But on the other hand, if one does not remember Lord Caitanya, then even easy things will become very difficult. To this Lord Caitanya, I offer my respectful obeisances. So now we come to the second part, which I entitled Caitanya Siddhanta. Although Lord Caitanya only wrote the 8 verses known as Shikshashtakam, throughout the Caitanya Charitamrita, we read so many instructions that Lord Caitanya gave to his disciples Rupa and Sanatan, to Raghunath Das Goswami, to Sarvabhauma, to Prakashananda Saraswati, and so many devotees. So I collected the best ones, the ones that I very much like myself. This, of course, is Bengali. Apani kirume bhakti bhava angikare, apani achari bhakti shikainu sabare. Lord Caitanya says, I shall accept the role of a devotee, and I shall teach devotional service by practicing it myself. So that's referring to how Krishna was thinking before appearing as Lord Caitanya. So that was his mentality. I shall accept the role of a devotee, and I shall teach devotional service by practicing it myself. Then comes a very famous verse in Caitanya Charitamrita. Kalikale nama rupe Krishna avatar, nama hoite hoy sarva jagat nistar. In this age of Kali, the holy name of the Lord, the Hare Krishna Maha Mantra, is the incarnation of Lord Krishna. That's important. So many times people ask the question, Prabhuji, Krishna says in Gita, Yada yada hi dharmasya glanir bhavati bharata. Whenever there is a discrepancy, he descends. Why hasn't Krishna come in this Kali Yuga, which is so abominable? And the answer is, Krishna has appeared in Kali Yuga. Here it is. He has appeared, as the verse said, Krishna, Nama Rupe, Krishna Avatar. The avatar of Krishna in Kali Yuga takes the form of Nam, the holy name. So this is something that cannot be overstressed. God has appeared in Kali Yuga. He has appeared in the form of his holy name. Simply by chanting the holy name of God, one associates with Krishna directly. Anyone who does this is certainly delivered. I hope all of us take this verse into the core of our heart and live by it. Here is a very famous instruction Lord Caitanya once gave. Yare deka tare kaha Krishna upadesh, amar agyan guru hai tara e desh. So this was from a Brahmana who wanted to leave his family and accompany Lord Caitanya. But Lord Caitanya said, no, you return home. And here is what he said. Instruct everyone to follow the orders of Lord Sri Krishna as they are given in Bhagavad Gita and Srimad Bhagavatam. So, my dear Sri Nam Radha, this is the verse that you live by. You are executing this. Instruct everyone to follow the orders of Lord Krishna as they are given in Bhagavad Gita and Srimad Bhagavatam. In this way, become a spiritual master. So all obeisances to Guru Dev. Yes, you are a guru, according to Lord Caitanya. Try to liberate everyone in this land. So in your case, you are trying to deliver Santiago. So may you take this verse of Lord Caitanya and may it become one in your heart. Lord Caitanya further advised this Brahmana, whose name was Kurma, if you follow this instruction, your materialistic life at home will not obstruct your spiritual advancement. Indeed, If you follow these regulative principles, we will again meet here, or rather, you will never lose my company. So this reminds me of what Krishna says towards the end of the Bhagavad Gita. Practically one of the final things he says. There is no servant more dear to me than one who teaches my message. So go on preaching. All of you, not just Srinam Radha, all of you can, instruction is open for everyone. Everyone can become guru. It's very simple. Just repeat what Krishna says in Bhagavad Gita or what is said about Krishna in Bhagavatam. That's all you have to do, and you do that, you're Gurudev. Here is another building block of Lord Chaitanya's philosophy. Kiba vipra kibanyasi sudra kene nai. Ye Krishna tattva veta she guru hoy. Whether one is a Brahmana, sannyasi, or Shudra, regardless of what one is, one can become a spiritual master if one knows the science of Krishna consciousness. Just like me, I was born in Mleccha Yavana family. Indeed, Prabhupada said I was Papayonaya. But look what Lord Chaitanya says, it doesn't matter. You can also become spiritual master if you know the science of Krishna. And of course, you have to preach it. So learn Bhagavad Gita, Srimad Bhagavatam, or Chaitanya Charitamrita. Learn it and repeat it. That's it, you're a spiritual master. Here's some more of Lord Chaitanya's philosophy. Krishna Bhakta Nishkam. So Lord Chaitanya told Rupa Goswami, Krishna Bhakta Nishkama. A devotee of Lord Krishna is actually desireless. Ata eva shanta. Therefore, the Krishna devotee is peaceful. So everybody wants peace. You want peace? Just become a Krishna devotee. Bhukti mukti siddhikami, but those who are desirous of material enjoyment, liberation, or yogic perfections, shakali ashanta. Those persons cannot be peaceful because they have some personal desire. To desire only Krishna, that's desireless. Some other desire, then you're not going to be peaceful. Lord Chaitanya also taught Rupa Goswami, very famous verse, Brahmanda Brahmate Kon Bhagyavan Jeev Guru Krishna Prasade Pai Bhakti Lata Bij. According to their karma, all living entities are wandering throughout the entire universe. Some of them are being elevated to the upper planetary systems, and some are going down into the lower planetary systems. Out of many millions of wandering living entities, one who is very fortunate gets an opportunity to associate with a bona fide spiritual master by the grace of Krishna. That is significance. Krishna will send a spiritual master to you when you show sincerity and seriousness. That's what happened to me. I had some inclination, I had some desire, and Krishna sent Prabhupada. So it is by the combined mercy of both Krishna and the spiritual master that such a person receives the seed of the creeper of devotional service. So that seed is known as Bhakti Lata Bij, and that is implanted in the disciple at the time of Harinam initiation. When one is first initiated, one gets the seed of the creeper of devotion planted there by the spiritual master. But as with any seed, you have to nurture it. You have to water it. That is the disciple's business, not the guru's business. It is the disciple's business to water the creeper of the seed. Lord Caitanya also told Rupa Goswami, Mali hai kare se bij aropan, Sravana kirtana jale karaya sechana. When a person receives the seed of devotional service, one should take care of it by becoming a gardener, and thus sow the seed in one's heart. If one waters the seed gradually by the process of Sravana Kirtana, hearing and chanting, the seed will begin to sprout. So this monthly program and other programs that you do with Srinam Radha, this is what you're doing. You're watering the creeper of devotion by hearing and chanting. Now the next section are the instructions, the chief instructions Lord Caitanya gave Sanatan Goswami. Lord Sanatan Goswami, when he approached Lord Caitanya, he said, Ke ami? Who am I? And why am I suffering the threefold miseries? So in reply, Lord Caitanya spoke this famous verse, Jivera Swarupa Hai, Krishnera Nityadas, Krishnera Tatashta Shakti, Veda Veda Prakash, Suryangsha Kirana Yaiche Agni Jwala Chai, Swabhavika Krishnera Tina Prakar Shakti Hai. So Lord Caitanya told Sanatan, it is the living entity's constitutional position to be an eternal servant of Krishna, because one is the marginal energy of Krishna. What does that mean, marginal energy? It means this: the spirit soul is atomic. It's very, very, very 1/10,000th the tip of a hair. It's atomic in size. So although the spirit soul is spiritual, just like Krishna, because of it being so minute, it can easily be affected by either the material energy or the spiritual energy. It is just like walking along the shore of a beach. Sometimes when you're walking along the shore of the beach, the water comes and covers your feet. That means you're in Maya. And other times, when you're walking along, you're on the dry, sandy beach. The water doesn't. So that is when you're under the influence of the spiritual energy. The fallen conditioned soul, the marginal living entity, is always going to be either under the shelter of the material energy, Maya, Durga, or liberated by into the shelter of the spiritual energy. We have free will, so we are coming in and out. Sometimes we're in Maya, sometimes we're out. Of course, there is the famous joke. One of Prabhupada's sannyasis once told Prabhupada, Prabhupada, I'm very sorry. I must have fallen into Maya. And Prabhupada said, no, you're always in Maya. Sometimes you fall into Krishna. So that is our position. We're not fixed at Krishna's lotus feet. So sometimes we're in Maya. So chant incessantly, do devotional service, do as much hearing and chanting as you can, and don't be in Maya. The spirit soul is a manifestation simultaneously one with and different from Krishna. That I already explained. We're one with Krishna in both of us are spirit, but we're different because Krishna is Vibhu, unlimited, and we are anu, atomic. Just like a molecular particle of sunshine or fire. Yes, the sun is compared to Krishna, Krishna Surya Sama. But we are the sun rays. Therefore, in this verse, Lord Caitanya used the word kirana, Suryangsha kirana, a pencil ray, sun ray. That is the spirit soul, compared to Krishna, who is the sun. Or like a spark from the fire. The fire is blazing, that's Krishna. And the sparks that come out are little tiny little atomic particles of fire. That's the living entity. Here's another instruction from Lord Caitanya to Sanatan Goswami. Krishna bhuli se jiva anadi bahir mukha ata eva maya tare deya samsara duk. By forgetting Krishna, the living entity has been attracted by the external feature of Maya. Since time immemorial, therefore, the illusory material energy, Maya, gives one all kinds of misery in material existence. So, we have no one to blame but ourselves. We have allowed ourselves to come to this atmosphere of Maya. We chose the material energy, and so once you're in the material energy, all bets are off. You have put yourself in a position where you're going to suffer one, two, or all three kinds of miserable material existence. You have to get out of Maya. Therefore, we stress everyone, chant the Hare Krishna mantra and get out of Maya. Maya mukda jivera nahi shvatak Krishna gyan. Jivere kripai koila Krishna Veda Puran. Lord Caitanya said, the conditioned soul cannot revive his or her Krishna consciousness by one's own effort. But out of his causeless mercy, Lord Krishna compiled the Vedic literature and its supplements, the Puranas. So this is why Prabhupada emphasized reading his books and distributing his books. Because look what it said here. The conditioned soul cannot revive Krishna consciousness by their own endeavor. So why are there so many books? And why do we emphasize it? It's just for this, to get out of Maya. That's why these weekly classes are so important. This is how you're going to get out of Maya, myself included. I also need to come out of Maya. That's why I'm reading every day based on this. Veda Shastra Kahe Sambandha Abhideya Prayojana Krishna Prapya Sambandha Bhakti Prapyera Sadhana. Lord Caitanya said, the Vedic literatures give information about three things. So Lord Caitanya said this on various occasions. In one place he said, all the Vedas, doesn't matter, the Vedas, Upanishads, Itihasa, Purana, basically all these Vedic literatures are giving information about three things only. Number one, Sambandha, the living entity's eternal relationship with Krishna. Two, Abhideya, the living entity's understanding of this relationship and acting accordingly. And number three, Prayojana, returning home back to Godhead, the ultimate goal of life. So this is what all the Vedas are really teaching. Understand, be convinced that you have an eternal relationship with Krishna. Then act accordingly. And then by doing so, you will go back home, back to Godhead. Here is a verse I referred to just a little while ago. Krishna Surya Sama. Krishna, the Supreme Personality of Godhead, is just like the sun planet. Maya hoy andakar. But Maya, the illusory energy, is just like darkness. Yes, this material world, which is like a coconut, you take out the sun, the universe is completely dark. That light, Krishna has put a light bulb in this dark universe called the sun. So Maya is like darkness. Jahan Krishna Tahan. Wherever there is Krishna, Nahi Mayar Adhikar. There cannot exist the darkness of Maya. Yes, as soon as the light is turned on, there's no more darkness. When you go to bed at night, you want to be in darkness, so you turn out the light. But then in the morning, the sun floods your room with sunlight. It's time to get up. No more darkness. Here's another verse by Lord Caitanya. Sadhu Sangha, Sarva Shastrikai, Lava Matra Sadhu Sange, Sarva Siddhi Hoy. What's a lava? 1/11 of a second. So Lord Caitanya told Sanatan, the verdict of all revealed scriptures is that even by a moment, 1/11 of a second, association with a pure devotee, one can attain all success. So if you can come in contact with a pure devotee, even if for 1/11 of a second, that can give you all success. Shraddha Shabde Vishvasa Kahe Sudridha Nishchai Krishna Bhakti Kaila Sarva Karma Krita Hoy. Lord Caitanya said, Shraddha is confident, firm faith. What kind of faith? Simply by rendering transcendental loving service to Krishna, one automatically performs all subsidiary activities. So this understanding is required in order to transcend one's materialistic life, to transcend one's inferior religion. People are going by so many different religious clubs, and sometimes they're reluctant to come to Krishna. So you need this, Shraddha, confident, firm faith. What? That if I just serve Krishna, all other pious, religious, all automatically are done simply by serving Krishna. That was the decision I made in 1973. I came to that conclusion. This life, from 23 years going on, I was going to give my life to Guru in Krishna because I had this, that if I do service to Krishna, everything pious and religious will automatically be accomplished. Such faith is very favorable to the discharge of devotional service. Otherwise, one will always be confused or doubtful. Should I do this ritual? Should I do this vrata? No. Just do devotional service. You don't need to do anything else. Just do hearing, chanting, praying, worshiping. Don't get caught up in all this other stuff. You're wasting your time. Just do devotional service. That covers everything. Nitya Siddha Krishna Prem Sadhya Kabhu Nai Sravanadi Shuddha Chitte Karaye Udai. Lord Caitanya said to Sanatan, pure love for Krishna is eternally established in the hearts of all living entities. I love this verse. This is why Krishna consciousness is available to everyone. I don't care if you're Muslim, Jew, Hindu, atheist, Buddhist. I don't care. Why? Listen to this. Love of Krishna is already there in that person's heart. It is not something to be gained from any other source. When the heart is purified by hearing and chanting, notice so many places, hearing and chanting, hearing and chanting, hearing and chanting. When things are repeated in the Vedas, it's for emphasis. There should be no doubt. My primary function in this life is to be engaged in hearing and chanting about Krishna as much as possible. Yes, you have to take care of your family. Yes, you have to go to school. Yes, you have to do your job. We're not saying no, but there must be some proper time every day for hearing and chanting. Just like you find time to eat, you find time to watch TV or watch your soccer games. So, make quality time for hearing and chanting. And what will happen? Love for Krishna will naturally awaken in your heart. Lord Caitanya also instructed Sanatana Goswami this following information. These following 5 limbs of devotional service are the best of all the 64 items of devotional service. Yes, there are 64 items. For even a slight performance of these 5 awakens love for Krishna. That's the whole thing. We want to awaken love for Krishna. So, mark these down. First, sadhu sangha, association with devotees. Number 2, nama kirtan, chanting the holy name of Krishna. Number 3, Bhagavat Sravana, hearing Srimad Bhagavatam or Bhagavad Gita or Caitanya Charitamrita. Number 4, Mathura Vas, living in Mathura, and that also means living in Vrindavan or any of the dhams, or visiting a temple. And then Sri Murtira Sardaya Sevana, worshiping the deity with faith and veneration. That is how we worship the deity, with faith that this is not a stone statue. This is God that I'm worshiping. And it should be done with veneration, with respect. One should have a proper attitude. God, the deity, is my Lord and Master. I am the humble servant. Now, another verse in Caitanya Charitamrita. Kali Kalera Dharma, Krishna Nam Sankirtan, Krishna Shakti Bina Nahe Tar Pravartana. So this was a statement made by Vallabha Bhatta. Vallabha Bhatta started the Vallabha Sampradaya, which is also known as Pushti Marg, which is found in many Gujarati people follow this Pushti Marg, or the Vallabha Acharya Sampradaya. It's accepted as a Vaishnava Sampradaya. So he met Lord Caitanya and they had some exchanges. But one time he praised Lord Caitanya. The fundamental religious system in the age of Kali is the chanting of the holy name of Krishna. And unless empowered by Krishna, one cannot propagate the Sankirtan movement. So, keep that in mind, that in order to preach, you have to be empowered by Guru and Krishna. And how do you get empowered by Guru and Krishna? You ask them. You pray to them. Please bless me. All right. Before I bless everybody, we will sing the Sringa prayers so that COVID is wiped off the face of the earth. Namaste Narasimhaya. Prahlada Klada Dayani. Hiranya Kashipur Vakshaha. Shilatankan Nakalaye. Ito Nrsinga Padato Nrsinga. Yato Yato Yamitato Nrsinga. Bahi Nrsinga Hridaye Nrsinga. Nrsingham Adim Sharanam Prapadye. Nrsinghamadim Sharanam Prapadye. Nrsinghamadim Sharanam Prapadye. Tavakara Kamala Hare Nakam Adbhuta Sringam. Dalita Hiranyakashipu Tanu Bringam. Keshavadrita Narahadi Rupa. Jaya Jagadisha Hare. Jaya Jagadisha Hare. Jaya Jagadisha Hare. Jaya Jagadisha. Jaya Jagadisha. Jaya Jagadisha Hare. Jaya Jagadisha Hare. Jaya Jagadisha Hare. Jaya Vishnupad Paramahansa Paribrajacharya Ashtotter Sattasi Siman, His Divine Grace A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada Ki Jai. Ananta Koti Vaishnava Brinda Ki Jai. Nama Acharya Haridas Thakur Ki Jai. Prem se kaho Sri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda, Sri Advaita Gadadhar Sri Vasadi Gaur Bhakta Vrinda Ki Jai. Sri Sri Radha Krishna Gop Gopinath Syamakunda Radha Kunda Giri Govardhana Ki Jai. Vrindavan Dham Ki Jai. Navadvip Dham Ki Jai. Bhakti Devi Ki Jai. Tulsi Maharani Ki Jai. Yamuna Devi Ki Jai. Ganga Devi Ki Jai. Samaveta Bhakta Vrinda Ki Jai. My Santiago family Ki Jai. All glories to the assembled devotees. All glories to the assembled devotees. All glories to the assembled devotees. All glories to Sri Sri Guru and Gauranga.